All right, here it is. The plain and precious truths that are being obliterated by the influencers. The crazy thing is I am not even offering an opinion. These are the absolute facts and code requirements necessary to install complex systems. And the mental gymnastics and the excuses being made to me of why it was done the way it was done absolutely sounds like the days when I had, 18 employees telling me why they couldn't do what they did, or couldn't do what I wanted done, and why they did what they did, which is wrong. It's just wrong. And you're claiming, the claim is that it's an educational boiler build to teach people how to do it, and you're doing it wrong. That's it. So of course, number one, the first one is, of course, every dirt pocket not only has to be double the length of the size of pipe, but it needs to be accessible. And so when I hear, well, that's what the manufacturer supplies, okay, is that how you work in your real life? Well, no. Really? How do I know? Because this is, you're teaching people. People are going to go to whatever school. I have yet to see it go to a school. It's sitting somewhere. Some kid's going to look at that and go, oh, you just plug that off. Cool. And then he's going to do it. And he's either going to get fired, or first of all, his inspector's going to fail it, and then he's going to get reprimanded. And he's going to say, well, I saw it in school. That's how they did it in school. All right. So that one's been done to death. It has to be accessible. The second, and probably equally egregious, is the fact that they're using street 90s. Now, I know the response is going to be, well, that's for threaded. Does it denote that in the code? No, it doesn't. It says street fittings are prohibited. Prohibited. It doesn't say press is okay and threaded are okay. So you can tell me, which I know is exactly the comment I'm going to get, well, my inspector allows it. Fine. I don't know how many steak sandwiches you needed to buy him to allow that to happen, but that is absolutely against the code. 100%. Those are two. You're going to have to pull that gas line out and redo it if you did that in real life. The second, none of them have shutoffs. I mean, you literally spent $50,000 on equipment for the boiler, and you can't afford a shutoff for the gas line. And one of them, the union, which is supposed to be after the T, is like 3 feet up, or a couple feet up. It comes down with the pipe, union, T, dirt pocket with a plug, and then in. It's supposed to be for serviceability into your appliance, 90 or whatever you're going to do. Union, T, shut off. That's how it's supposed to be done. So you go look at those pictures, and the gas fitting is an absolute fail. The finished gas fitting is an absolute failure. Like, there's no way around it. I don't care what excuses you give me. It's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong. Third, I don't know if you guys follow Eric on a Mechanical Hub or Bob there at Boiler Build, or not Boiler Build, Boiler Crew. But in the last month alone, both of those guys have thrown away at least 6 or 7 expansion tanks because they pinhole, and they're super susceptible to pinholes. I don't know why, but they are. It's terrible. And not a single one of those that I can see has a shutoff prior to the expansion tank. And so you're going to install that in somebody's home, and then December 24th, that's going to pinhole, and the boiler's going to go down, and I'm going to show up, and so would you, and say, why is there no inspection panel, or why is there no Why is there no shut-off on this thing? Tell me why. And you're going to post it on Instagram and call the guy a chump and a chongo and a loser because he couldn't afford to put a shut-off valve on the expansion tank. Oh, Bob, it's just educational. Is it? Then teach them right. Teach them how to service it. That expansion tank is absolutely going to fail. And if you do that on December 25th or 24th, you're going to have to tell Mrs. Jones, I have to drain your entire system in order to change this expansion tank, because the guy that installed it is a moron. Straight up. And you guys know that you would post that and make fun of whoever did that, or at least call them out. And yet I'm going to get 8 messages saying, Bob, you're being overly critical. Am I? Fine. That's how, if my boys had done that, I would yell at them for doing that and they would change it immediately. Say, what are you doing? And, okay, you're not going to have to drain the whole system. You're going to try and do it live? Yeah, good luck with that, as that thing is like a water balloon and just water sprays all over the place. Poor, it's what we call in the trades good plumbing practice. It's not code, but it's what you do in order to keep things running smoothly. In the last one, which I'm shocked they actually allow, if you guys know anything, it proves to me that nobody, despite all the hashtags of read the effing manual, RTFM, nobody has ever read the manual on zone valves, ever, in their whole life. The only one that I know that gives the exception is Taco, and they'll allow you to orient the zone valve any way you want, unless it's a chilled system, and then it fall. I don't know what the difference is. You'd have to ask Taco. With it, if it's vertical, it needs to be straight up. If it's horizontal, it cannot be 90 degrees. And every one of those zone valves is in the 90 degree. Every one, because it looks cool, but it voids the manufacturer's warranty. You have to keep it at least 85 and above. They prefer it to be straight up. So if this is your piping, they want the motor right on top. Every one of those boiler builds has it on the side, against the manufacturer's recommendations. Rizio, or however you say that, Honeywell, all of them. And even Taco, if it's a chilled system, makes the exact same requirement. So that is it. Like, those are absolutely four or I don't even know how many I got there, 4 or 5 total and complete methods that go against everything that, and they're the simplest things. And that's why people will say to me, you're overreacting, Bob, because it's the simplest things. Well, if you overlook the simplest things, then the biggest things are a total write-off. And I haven't seen enough of it, you know, because it's just, they do the swipe. And I've gone on for way too long now. But if you're going to claim to be educators, then educate and do it right. And I feel, I do, on some level, I feel bad that I'm educating the educators, people that claim to know what they're doing. And everybody has said, well, we're, you know, it's not really about the boiler build, it's about networking. Like, they just minimize it. And yet, leading up to it, it's all about the boiler build. If you just want to get networking and do your thing, then go out for wings. Phone everybody up on a Thursday night and say, we're going for wings, come by. Bring your spouses, let's just shoot the shit. Fine, do that. But to claim that you are educating people, that you are benefiting the trade, when you can't even get the simplest things right, is, I'm going to say all those words, disingenuous, incongruent with your message, hypocritical, and asinine. And I'm sorry that I have to be the one to say, you guys are doing it wrong and you need to do better. Everybody needs to do better. It's an advertising event. It's a Lego assembly event, full stop. And frankly, I think you guys are doing the trade a disservice. My thoughts.